Right. Well, we've got a bit of a special treat because all the way from, well, India somewhere, I'm not 100% sure, but I will ask him in a minute, is one of the central stags from New Zealand, also played a handful of games for the Black Caps, but currently playing for the Scottish national team in the T20 World Cup. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome to the Cricketers Network, Tom the Bruce. How are you, Tom Bruce?
Good, thanks, Ben. Thanks for having me. So we're in Kolkata here at the moment.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, you are, well, you're born in Tikawiti, and you've played almost your entire career for the Central Stags, a few little sidelines to some T20 leagues and stuff around the world. But I mean, as a Stags fan myself, that's how I know you. But suddenly you're, a top order batter for the Scottish national team. So do you want to tell us a little bit about how that happened?
Yeah. So obviously, like I said, born in Tikawiti, far away from Scotland. Dad was born in Edinburgh, and his family moved out to New Zealand when he was about 5. So his parents and the 4 boys all moved out. So I was able to get a British passport through Dad, and obviously that Scottish side and Scottish ancestry runs through his family. Bruce obviously being a
Yep.
very Scottish name, so it
Yep.
makes sense. Yeah, obviously last year we got in touch with Scotland Cricket and through Doug Watson, who was the then head coach. Obviously had a relationship there with and been a previous coach for Auckland, so we looked into the move of switching allegiances and being able to play for Scotland and use that passport. So obviously last year I made my ODI debut for Scotland over in Toronto, Canada, and then this year, well, obviously the last couple of days, just making my T20 debut for them as well. So yeah, that's bit different from playing in New Zealand. So certainly it's been pretty special and something that's been really cool to be able to do for my family.
So not only a little bit of a surprise, I imagine, that you are playing for Scotland, but also a bit of a surprise that Scotland's playing in the World Cup. Now, Scotland are no strangers to the World Cup. New Zealand has certainly played Scotland a few times in various World Cups, but you as a team were not expected to be at this one, were you?
No, so before I'd made the switch to Scotland, they had to qualify for the T20 World Cup, and unfortunately were beaten a couple of times in that qualifying tournament by Italy and Jersey. So yeah, we weren't actually qualified for this T20 World Cup, and obviously, but unfortunate the situation that happened with Bangladesh and India, and with Bangladesh pulling out. With security concerns, Scotland were the next highest ranked T20 team that didn't qualify. So, we're very grateful and very appreciative, that this opportunity has come about under these circumstances. And obviously, it's pretty disappointing and for Bangladesh cricket and their fans as well and their players. So we understand this has been a great opportunity that we've been afforded, and yes, we haven't been probably as well prepared as other teams. The guys were hitting balls indoors probably 2 days before flying out to India. There wasn't a whole lot of preparation done, but the cool thing is, there's been no excuses from the Scotland boys. They've just cracked on, and like I say, everyone knows what an opportunity this is, and they're just putting their best foot forward and giving it a good crack.
Yeah, well, you talk about, being prepared. It is the middle of winter in Scotland. Not a great deal of cricket going on there at the moment. But middle of summer here in New Zealand where you live. How many of the Scottish team actually live in Scotland?
So the majority, there were a couple of boys that were playing sort of club cricket out in Australia. Obviously myself, and then the rest have all been living in Scotland, or there's a couple of guys that play sort of county cricket in the UK as well. So they're in their respective counties as well. So, like you said, everyone's been, well, a few of the guys hadn't even picked up a bat probably before coming out to India, such as the life of the Scotland international player. We weren't scheduled to play any cricket from last September until March. So it was a good 6 months of no cricket for the guys. And that's purely because we obviously didn't qualify for the T20 World Cup. So Had we qualified, I'm sure there would have been about 3 or 4 different series in that time. So it's quite different. And like I say, the guys have been really good about just getting on with things, no excuses, and we're here to play cricket. And so far we've done all right. We've probably let ourselves down a little bit against West Indies. Would have been nice to get a wee bit closer in that run chase, and obviously we played Italy, and played really well that game, and I think it was quite I wouldn't say spiteful game, but there was a lot of emotion considering Italy were the team that knocked us out of the qualifiers.
Yeah, that was a really good win against Italy. You scored more runs in the loss to the Windies, though. I bet that felt good to contribute in your first T20 for your adopted nation.
Yeah, it was nice to sort of be back in the middle in international cricket. It was 6 years between the last game, international game, so it was just nice to be out in the middle again. Yeah, I think we sort of let ourselves down a wee bit in the run chase, and we could have got a hell of a lot closer if not winning. When myself and Richie Berrington were in the middle, so it took me a wee bit to get going. It was a bit of a slow start there, but was sort of coming right. And that partnership that we formed, I thought we really had the game in our hands. So a little bit unfortunate, but at the same time, the guys were proud of their efforts. They know that we probably let one slip away then.
But the West Indies look pretty hot. I mean, they crushed England last night. Now, that pretty much means that your game versus England in the weekend is do or die for England, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think such is the nature of World Cup cricket. Every game is a big game, and I think we showed with England versus Nepal, their first game. Nepal nearly coming so close to beating England. Would have been massive for the tournament, and I think that's the cool part. You've seen a lot of associate nations standing up and really giving the big teams a fright, and it makes for exciting cricket as well. I think everyone's supporting and rooting for the underdogs. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
it makes it.
did you watch the double super over last night, Afghanistan and South Africa?
I watched the whole game. I've never been off my seat for the two teams I don't support. So I couldn't believe it. They both won it. They both lost it. They're just it was an enthralling game, and pretty special hitting as well. To be doing that in pressure situations from both South Africa and Afghanistan, it was a crazy game. I think a lot of people were supporting Afghanistan and just wanted to make that group uh, you know, obviously now you probably look at that group in New Zealand and South Africa are already through. I think everyone was sort of wanting Afghanistan to win just to make it a wee bit nervy for everyone involved.
Yeah, how is it watching a lot of your old teammates and current teammates at the in New Zealand? Like, are you still yeah, how does that make you feel?
Um, there's no real feeling. Yeah, I guess it's.
Yeah.
I guess to be fair, none of them are my current teammates. There's no central stags in there,
Oh, there's no
so
stags in there. No,
no, there's
because
no stags.
yeah, true.
No, so that's always disappointing. But no, it's one of those ones. It's definitely an easier watch now. You're just a fan. So watching Finn Allen and Tim Seifert the other day, um, I'm just watching them, and you're just so impressed. You're in awe of what they're doing at the moment and the form that they're in. And like I say, I think New Zealand's always, other than the last T20 World Cup, they've always been a threat in every World Cup. Whether it be one days or T20s, and they're just always a team that, and it's probably us as a nation as well. You just sort of slink in there and you're under the radar a wee bit, and you just play some really good cricket, and they end up being semi-finalists. So if obviously Scotland don't win, then I want New Zealand to win.
Okay, good. That's a very good answer. Thank you, Tom. Uh, very diplomatic. Now, speaking of diplomacy, if we can go back to the England game that you've got upcoming, like there's a lot of rivalries in international cricket, a lot of them due to kind of historical colonial past or, current global politics. But, you talk about feeling between teams, there's got to be some feeling between England and Scotland, right?
I would imagine so. To be fair, there's like I say, the boys are pretty passionate, and they get up for any game that they play, which has been impressive. just the level of commitment and attitude that the guys bring. So that was sort of on show against Italy in the weekend. Like I say, that they were hurting when Italy had beat them. So there was a lot of passion, a lot of, I wouldn't say aggression, but yeah, it was a very animated game. So I can only imagine what Scotland, England will be like.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of Aussies in that Italian team, isn't there? So there's probably a little bit of that Aussie edge to that team, don't you reckon?
Yeah, there certainly was. So yeah, Michael Leask and I think it was Ben Minetti were getting into it nicely. So the two offies and two guys are just bludgeoning it. So yeah, I think they have some pretty choice words.
Now, how do you slot into a team like this? You say most of the team live in Scotland, but there's a few from other parts of the world. It must be difficult, not for you personally necessarily, but just to bring a disparate group together like that, particularly at the last minute.
Yeah, I guess that's one of those things where I'm sort of still based in New Zealand and will be for the future. It's I guess it's every time that I've sort of spoken with Scotland, their sort of policy is with a lot of guys playing county cricket, myself overseas, they're sort of picking the best available team every series. And so you sort of have to let them know your availability quite early on. There's a series in March which I'm unavailable for due to it clashing with Blanket Shield. So just the communication in that sense of where everyone is going to be and if everyone's available is really imperative. And then secondly to that, it's just when the group does assemble and the squad does assemble, it's just everyone putting their best foot forward, for Scotland. Like I say, these guys are incredibly passionate about playing for Scotland and everyone brings the right attitude. So it's pretty easy when everyone's on the right track or on the same path and wanting to, do their best for an international cricket team. So like I say, it was a bit different. I hadn't seen anyone since September, any of these guys since September. So, but once you get together, you just feel like you've been hanging out all the time. So, such is the nature of this group.
Yeah, cool. Now you're in Kolkata. The first two games were there at Eden Gardens. Such an iconic stadium. I don't know if you'd played there before, had you?
No, I'd played pretty much everywhere, I reckon, except Kolkata and probably Ahmedabad. So, yeah, awesome stadium, awesome ground. I think we had a very friendly schedule. We had 3 games here in Kolkata with our first 3 games. So, yeah, like I said, pretty special. Just have, Ian Bishop's call of Carlos Brathwaite and Ben Stokes, that T20 World Cup, which was at Eden Gardens, just had that call just ringing through my head when we touched down at the ground. So, yeah, pretty special ground to play at.
Now, if you can do an impression of him, of Bish when you're playing England, while a couple of the English batters are out there, that'd be a pretty top sledge, Tom.
It would be. It would be. I wouldn't be able to do it justice, but maybe if I play like Carlos Brathwaite and in that sense, that would be that'd be very nice.
All right. Well, look, I know you've got lots to do and training and what have you, mental preparation. But what does success look like for Scotland at this World Cup? Like, what's the kind of benchmark that you're aiming for? I mean, obviously you want to win it, but less than that, what's the minimum?
Yeah, I think for Scotland, it's a lot of it's just around playing your best cricket. Like just giving yourself a chance to beat the best nations. So when you look at our pool, we're looking at Nepal and Italy, and we're saying, our expectation is we have to win those games. Yes, our fellow associate teams, but the expectation is we win those two. And then when you look at England and West Indies, it's yes, that you're an underdog, but we're going there to win. We're not just being there to be a punching bag or to be thrown around or your head. Um, Teams talking about, or the media talking about, is someone going to score 300 plus in this T20 tournament? It's a word bit ridiculous, and I think a lot of people just think associate teams will just roll over and cop it from the big teams. So our expectation is that we just give it a red hot crack. Like I say, the West Indies game, we played well for the most part, but unfortunately came up short. So like I say, this England game, the guys are going to be going out there trying to win. There's no two ways about it. We want to try and make the Super Eights and be that nation that sort of shocks and upsets on the world stage.
So traditionally, Scotland's strength has kind of been a couple of very handy seamers. Generally, what would you say the strength of this team is?
Yeah, like I'd say probably the strength lies in our batting department this sort of this time around, just with the balance of the side. We're sort of only taking the three seamers and to the last two games and three spinners. So like I said, it's probably the batting would probably bat deep, down to sort of 8 or 9, ideally. So which is what a lot of teams are setting themselves up for as well. You know, every team bats really deep, and they have guys that can hit at the back end as well. So we saw Michael Leaf's last game. You know, he's down to about 8 or 9, and he came out. He scored 22 or 5. So, but that is the nature of T20 cricket. Everyone wants everyone to be able to hit. So, I'd say our batting's the strength, and then spin through the middle was trying to tie them down, and yeah, we get through some cheeky overs with some spinners.
And you're sort of down to bat 3, 4, 5. I noticed you're kind of floating in a few of the matches.
Yeah, so if everything goes well, I think I'm batting 5. So, but such as T20 cricket, yeah, you just have to be flexible. And like I said, we've got some guys that can power hit from ball 1 as well. And yeah, if everything's going well, I'm batting 5.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Five's one of those positions in T20 cricket. I reckon it was not an easy position. There's no easy positions in cricket, but in long form cricket, five's a pretty sweet spot, right? Like the shines come off the ball, etc., etc. But in T20 cricket, you're either putting a massive band-aid over a disaster at the top, or you've got 6 balls to score as many as you can.
Yeah, it feels about right. Yeah, I'd say 5 is a very cushy spot in red ball, which has probably been the majority of my career. So,
That's not what I was
I've
getting at,
enjoyed.
Tom. That's not what I was getting at.
Oh, it's actually really hard. No, you're right. I think batting 4 and 5, which I've done in white ball cricket, you just have to play every situation, and that's why you have to be, you know, accustomed to everything. Like you said, you could be in the first 2 overs, or you could be in the 19th over, and then if you're in the 10th over, you're just expected to go out and score, you know, quickly anyway, get the momentum going. So yeah, you really do have to be very good at each situation, and know that it's not always going to come off. It's not always going to be your day, but when it is, you know, you help turn the game on its head. So, yeah, like I said, it's been my position for the majority of years now. So, yeah, accustomed to batting that middle order.
Now, I haven't looked at the ramifications of the possibility of Super 8s for you, but I guess if you're in there, then there will be New Zealand versus Scotland at some point. Do you know, have you looked ahead to where that possibly might be?
I actually haven't looked. I think they split into 2 pools.
Right.
So I would love to be in the same group as New Zealand. That'd be awesome. Being able to play against all those boys would be yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. I'm sure it'd be a lot of banter. And yet to think, like I said, to be thinking I'd be playing for Scotland against all those New Zealand lads, you know, that I've played against, and a few of them with as well, would be pretty special.
Well, look, if nothing else, you've given Kiwi cricket fans a second team to cheer for. So we wish you all the best, Tom. Go well. Go particularly well against England. I don't wish ill of any team, but the story of the team that wasn't supposed to be there that knocks out England is a pretty great one. That's almost movie level, right?
I'm sure it'd make a few headlines, have a few people scratching their heads in England.
Safe travels, Tom. Thanks so much for talking to us.
Cheers. Thanks, Jeff.